to 1 Million Cups. Our chapter is called Metro Detroit, formerly the Oakland County chapter, which was started a few years ago. We're glad you guys could all come today on Wednesday. The second Wednesday of the month is our hybrid meeting, and we have 5 guests in the office coffee shop, which is where we will be meeting in person and virtually. Hi to all of you guys that are there at the coffee shop, the rest of us coming in virtual. For those of you who are new, if you are new, if you could put in the chat, or potentially Doug will throw up a poll in a few minutes asking if you have ever been to 1 Million Cups chapter before, or if you're an entrepreneur. We would love to hear from you. I do not have access. For some reason, I don't have access to polls. I'm just going to ask you. Good, that's great. Ask you, you're going to put your information in the chat. So 1 Million Cups is a Kauffman Foundation program that was established for early stage entrepreneurs so that they can get a hand up from their B2B community or the open community in getting support with their newly launched business. Anytime like 5 years or younger, and we even will hear from people who are in idea stage. So the idea behind 1 Million Cups is that it's a short form presentation. You get 6 minutes. We generally say 6 slides. You will have about 20 minutes of Q&A from the audience, our group, to either give you resources, ask you questions, or simply give you kudos for the presentation that you're doing. One of the benefits to working with our volunteer group and our chapter and presenting with our chapter is that we have 2 business coaches, professional business coaches, who volunteer their time to hear your presentation in advance and help you kind of gear it towards our audience. What's important about that is that we are not doing a pitch here for sales, and we're not doing a pitch here for investment, although that does end up happening. What we're really hoping to hear is why you started your business, like who you are, why you started your business, and how can we help you wherever you are stuck right now, or what it is that you're looking for right now. So with that, I would love to introduce our speakers today. We have Joe Licavoli. Yes, is that right?
I love the way you say that, yes.
Joe Licovoli, who is one of our chapter's coaches. And we also have a partner in crime, faris.alami. Yes, close enough. And they are going to actually be presenting on the Kauffman Fast Trac program, which is something that all people have access to get into. I believe it is a free program, and they're going to share with us all the details about that. So any of us who are entrepreneurs here or on our way to being entrepreneurs should really get some good information in today's meeting. I believe we're reserving about 15-20 minutes at the end of this hour for Q&A. Is that right, Joe? We'll go about that far. Awesome. And then we will be here every Wednesday now. So we're weekly. So we'll be every Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning virtually. Log in as early as 8:45. And every second Wednesday of every month from now on, we're hybrid until we announce that we are going to be hybrid for all of the meetings. Just made an official decision. Anyhow, thank you guys very much. And I would like to turn the screen over to you. Hopefully everyone can see this. And thanks for presenting today.
Thank you so much, Melissa, and welcome everyone to Fast Trac. If you start hearing some background noises, please put your thing on mute, because that would be helpful for the presentation. Thank you, Matthew. I think sometimes when you're using 2 machines in the same room, it tends to give background. So welcome everyone. The purpose of today's meeting is we want to talk about another Kauffman Foundation program, and it's a wonderful program, and it's a program that faris.alami has taken upon himself to deliver to individuals, not only in Metro Detroit and in Michigan, but we've delivered sessions all over the country, and Faris has delivered sessions all over the world. So Faris is not doing as much traveling as he has previously done, and I'm going to give Faris at the end of the presentation an opportunity to talk more about international strategic management. But International Strategic Management is a company that has delivered the Kauffman Fast Trac program for how many years has it been now, Faris?
Well, since 2006.
Okay. All right, great. And of late, obviously, we've been delivering some really good programs virtually. So we've got the program set up where we can really do a wonderful job of delivering it anywhere in the world and completely virtual. But it involves a lot of work, okay? This is not an easy program. This is a commitment. And the commitment is typically a 10-week commitment. Sometimes we do it in 8, but it's usually 10 weeks. And the instructional side of it is always online, because you have to have presentations and classroom. So we typically do about 3 hours a week classroom training. But the real value and benefit of the program is what Melissa had said earlier, which is the fact that you have access to the Kauffman Foundation Fast Trac program itself and modules, and it's really a wonderful program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. What we do is, we involve coaches and facilitators working with the individuals in a peer-to-peer environment. And the learning strategy involves introducing concepts, doing practice with those concepts, and applying those concepts in the real world. So you'll see some of that as we go through the program today. The course is separated into 5 sections. And the reason why it's separated into 5 sections is because those are the 5 sections that reflect, starting a business. So those 5 sections, and I'm going to go through them each, those 5 sections are ideate, position, commit, refine, and launch. And if you go into the Fast Trac module, you'll see that each section begins with an overview. I'm going to play one of the welcome videos that is part of the program. There's specific modules in each of the sections, and the modules have topics, they have discussion points, they have exercises, and it allows the coaches to work directly with each entrepreneur to work on his own business. So you're not just learning about a generalized thing, you're really digging into your own business, and you're reflecting and changing and adding value. You're creating business plans, you're creating spreadsheets, financial forecasting. You're doing quite a few different things. And when you end the session in 10 weeks, you have a lot of new friends, you have a lot of new help, you've made a lot of contacts, and oh, by the way, your business is, ready to really launch. And, many of the organizations have already launched their business. Some of them are just in the early stage, and we can accommodate that within the program. So it's really a flexible program that works based on what you've done. So the workspace is an area of the program that gives you access to your business plan. It gives you an ability to create your business model canvas. It allows you to practice some pitches and do financial forecasting. So those are areas within the workspace, but the whole Fast Trac module and application is vast. It's huge. It covers many sections, and it's very complicated to present it today in 5 minutes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you kind of a taste of some of the things that happen. So the first thing I want to do is play you a 1-minute video that you would look at when you first go on to the Fast Trac program. So hopefully you can hear this, and it should come up very quickly.
Hi, and welcome. We're so glad you chose us to help guide you along the path to entrepreneurship. You're here because you've got an idea. Maybe you've had it for a while, and now you want to figure out how to make that idea work. We're here to walk you through the fundamentals of starting a business. First, we'll discuss the entrepreneurial lifestyle and how to get started. Then, it's time to really dive in. We'll look at where you're positioned in the market. Who are your customers? Who are your competitors? Next, we'll review how you can reach your customers. Once you're set there, we'll move on to building your organization and looking to the future. How do you want to launch and lead your company? What sort of culture do you want to establish? Throughout it all, we'll take a deep look at the financial picture for your business. Take your time as you go through each section. Be thoughtful. What's most important is that you, with a little help from us, set yourself up to make good decisions about your business idea. One more thing. Throughout the course, we've included quotes, tips, questions, and real-life examples that we hope will inspire and challenge you. Feel free to take a moment to reflect when you come across one, especially if it sparks a particularly brilliant thought. That's it for now. We know you're ready to get started, so let's do it.
Okay, so is everyone ready to get started?
So that's not actually, her voice was lovely and she said all the right stuff, but we couldn't see the video.
Right, I stop it and share it, and I knew that I would make a mistake, so
you did a great job.
it's just you're just listening to her and not seeing her. It wasn't anything magical. It just showed a few orange. It actually has the nice Kauffman orange and white coloring. So that's all you really saw was, more
branding,
orange and white coloring.
Yeah, that was a good positive, get ready. We're getting ready to learn. So that's good.
So we talked about, ideate, position, commit, refine, and launch. So I want to go through each one of those sections. Faris, feel free to jump in at any time if you want to explain further. But when we start with ideate is, what it sounds like. It's like we're starting to understand how we move this idea to an actual business concept. Okay. So we're talking about the entrepreneurial lifestyle is one, major section. Are you ready to commit to this? Are you ready to, put forth the effort? Have you thought about this? Have you talked to people about it yet? And, you're starting to answer questions about the idea so that you can bring it into an actual defined business concept. Because many people have their idea, but they don't want to tell anybody because they're scared that someone's going to either take their idea or run with it. And that does happen. There's no question about that. But eventually, if you truly want to start a business, you have to tell a few people. Otherwise, it's just, in your mind and it's not out there. So we're trying to help people get it out there and really do it the right way. So if you do it properly, you don't have to worry so much about someone running with your idea. And there's ways to protect it and all those type of things. So I'm going to try one more and just try to do the ideate discussion real quick so you kind of get an idea of what that is. And then we're gonna go into a little bit further. And this is just about a minute as well. Same music.
Hi again, and welcome to Section 1, Ideate. Now, we're sure you're excited to get your idea off the ground, maybe even a little nervous, and there's plenty of great content ahead. Before we dive into the details, though, let's take a look at what entrepreneurship means. In this section, we'll talk through the entrepreneurial lifestyle. What makes a successful entrepreneur? What's your vision for yourself, both personally and professionally? How do these line up with your idea? Next, we'll discuss how you can turn your idea into a business idea. How can you put your idea to the test? Can you develop an elevator pitch to talk about what your business does and what makes it unique? Are you willing to take risks to start a business? Should you go it alone, or are you better off building a team first? Got it? Good. Let's get started.
So as you can see, there's some really nice introductions to each one of these sections, and it brings you to the point where the coaches and the instructors can help you, move towards the modules. Now, the wonderful thing that Faris has done that very few people have done, because we're certified trainers by Kauffman Foundation. Okay, we had to go through particular training to be certified to deliver this program, and Faris and his organization are a key member. But what Faris has done has taken the Fast Trac program and kind of put it into overdrive. So he's developed slides. He's developed classroom exercises. He's developed the ability to deliver this virtually. He's developed a lot of extra work that really adds value. So we've been able to encourage, different communities, whether it be in different cities or whether it be part of economic development organizations or whether it be part of entrepreneurship support organizations, to buy into this concept and bring in a class of typically 10 to 15 companies to go through this intensive 10-week program. So maybe, Faris, you can just talk just briefly about your experience over the years with both Kauffman Foundation as well as with the Fast Trac program.
Thanks, Joe. We could talk about that for days, but I think being part of the 1 Million Club, you already know that Kauffman Foundation itself is a great organization that really supports entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial activities. Many of their reports are wonderful for those who are interested in learning more about entrepreneurship and the activities that's happening in the country. So I've been fortunate to have been engaged with Kauffman in some kind of capacity since 2004, and since 2006 becoming an affiliate of Kauffman, doing their Fast Trac programs. I think you nailed all the stuff, Joe. So what I like about Kauffman is I like how they have modified the curriculum so many times. So like this is really a different iterations than what it was probably even 8 years ago or 6 years ago. So they continue to update. I know that they're also going through a new update now. The information of Kauffman is free. You could access it. That's not what makes Kauffman special. What makes Kauffman special is really the connections and the network and the people who facilitate the program and the community that you start belonging to. And that's why we run it through a cohort style, not just log in and and watch it.
Yeah, we found that if you just go into the Fast Trac program, because it is free and you can get into it, you're going to be a bit, I guess not lost, but you might be amazed, you might be nervous, you might have a lot of different feelings how to get through the program. So you do need instruction. We really do feel that, going through the program and getting involved in a cohort is the best way to really make use of the program. Because what happens is this grows with your company and you're able to have this for the entire, life cycle of your organization. So it's a very valuable tool, but you need to really dig in and you need some instruction to help you. So going into the next section, which is called positioning. And, what positioning wants to do is mainly help you understand your market and do research and understand your competition and understand your industry and start thinking about your business strategy and kind of moving you down the pipe to get to the point where, you understand enough and you've done enough discovery to make you a bit dangerous and to make you feel comfortable that you're working hard towards building this organization. And it does also help you with some, legal structures and, how to formulate your company and, how to choose the ways that, is best suited to your business from a legal financial perspective as well. So that's the position section. The next section is commit. So what we do, and it's what it sounds like, okay, are you committed now? Because if you're committed, we are going to really start working hard, okay? So when we get to the commit section, the ideate section and the positioning section are kind of getting yourself a bit organized. The commit section is now you're ready, and now you have to start really thinking about your distribution cycle and your financials and what you're doing in terms of how you're selling and costing projections are being done and what you're doing to protect your investment with intellectual property. So the commit is, building the organization and starting to, make some progress. And then the next section, obviously, after you've done that is now we have to refine it. So, Now we have to consider building our organization team. We start talking about, cash needs and cash flow and how you're going to actually make money, because most businesses need to make money to sustain, even nonprofits. So we try to help you with that and developing what your needs are going to be in terms of financial and the assumptions and how you can seek funding. And, then we start talking about the business plan. But we don't get into the business plan super early in the process, because we felt if you did, or Kauffman, feels if you do, you're not going to concentrate on all the other areas that are needed. And this is kind of a growth cycle to take you through a process and not miss out on some things. So you're hoping that, when you get to the launch side, you're ready, and you can start creating a business culture and you can start measuring your results. So this is really a process that was developed wonderfully by the Kauffman Foundation to work with you and to make you follow these things. And we don't want people to jump ahead, because a lot of people love to jump ahead and they love to start creating their business plan. But then they come back to us after they jumped ahead and started creating your business plan, and they ask us, to help them. And we're like, wait a minute, we've got to do so many other things as we're going through the process. So that's a little bit about the program. And I also want to go through a few other things, so you do understand. We've been very lucky to be able to conduct virtual sessions, okay? But we've worked also very hard to prepare those virtual sessions. So we make a lot of progress. It's actually, I don't know, I really feel, Faris, that our virtual sessions were actually sometimes better than the in-person sessions, because we could go through so much more content. Because when we're sitting in a classroom together, we start going off track. When you're in a virtual session, you can usually always bring somebody back, someone like, Melissa or Doug, or, someone will come in and say, okay, Joe, stop, let's go, go back into the next thing. So it's easier in the virtual sessions to get back on track. But these are some of the important points, to have a successful virtual session. Number one, be ready, be on time, don't mess around, don't concentrate on other things, especially in a virtual session. Don't look at your phone, don't necessarily turn your video off unless you feel like you have to, all of those type of things that we do anyway. But, when you're doing these classroom instructions, you have to kind of, you have to have the engagement, or it doesn't work as well. We want you to be visible and be supportive and, don't talk over people. But I think, in classroom sessions, we have people talk over people much more than in the virtual. So it's been really fun. It's been really fun. We've done some really cool ones all over the country. We've done particular communities. Faris has a relationship with Battle Creek that he's working with Second Muse, that we've had, several community leaders in Battle Creek working with their economic development. And like that, he's done it, all over the country, all over the world. How many countries have you been involved with, Faris, just to give people an idea?
61. 61.
That's a lot of countries.
That's impressive.
Well, there's still a lot, another 140 more. So it's a long way to go.
Yeah, he's trying to get all the way through those. So
201 countries. I learned something else today. Thank you, Faris.
So when we go to the Kauffman Fast Trac application itself, you'll see again, there's these modules. There's the ideate, position, commit, refine, and launch. And we go through, and as you'll see, if you can see it, hopefully you can, those are the 5 pillars of the course. And each of those has particular modules. So ideate has 2 modules. The rest of them have anywhere from 4 to 7 modules that you have to complete to go through the process. So you have what's called our online textbook, and all the course information and exercises are listed in the portal. However, what we've done at ISM is we've created even more work, and we've created practice things. We've created a Google Classroom to help facilitate that. So if you're getting instruction from ISM as far as the cohort, you're getting a lot more added value as well. So it works out really nicely. We've spent a lot of time developing it. Faris has a wonderful team. We've continually improved it. Each session seems to change a little bit. So we like to say each session gets better and better as we go on, and we'll continue to do that. And we also, do a lot of work in terms of working with our attendees to help us make the courses better. So I'm going to I'm just going to go through a few slides at the beginning. This is kind of more from the ideate section, and talk about okay, we're going to determine your professional goals, and, how important are these areas to you? And, have you thought about these type of things to develop a company? Because you have to really concentrate on, different areas because you're doing something over and above your daily work when you're creating an organization. And many people have day jobs and night jobs and side gigs and new companies and multiple companies. So you have to really kind of be organized. So we're trying to help you organize yourself. And they have dogs too, Melissa. I see your dog there to worry about, and children and families and, all of these type of things. And when you're starting a company, not that you have to have buy-in from each and every, part of your life, but you need to understand that each and every part of your life is going to be impacted. So are you ready for that impact? So we try to help people come up with, the vision statement for their company and how they're going to achieve their goals, and, how do they create something that's really interesting and something that they can love. You don't have to, everyone doesn't have to love their business 100%, but it's nice if you love it because it makes you work a little bit harder. And if other people within your circle love it as well, it even makes it even better, because then you can get that support structure that you need to, grow your company. The main thing that you have to do eventually, as I said, is talk about your idea. We get these people that come in and they won't tell us really much about their idea because they're nervous. So, you have to eventually think about all these points, and you have to, bring them in at a particular section of your business process and the career that you've chosen to develop. And you have to start really working on these. Otherwise, your company may just kind of languish and be very small and not effective for many, many years. So we try to kind of push the people, like we say, from idea to business concept. So these are some of the areas that we want you to do in terms of talking about them. And then we want you to think about the risks associated with starting this new venture. So we want you to understand it, and you're not always going to be able to alleviate all these risks, but we want you to understand that there are risks associated with starting a new venture. We talk about conducting market research, and now you see how, some of these areas are becoming more and more complex as we go through the modules. And, we ask people to really do a good job of discovery and to create focus groups and to conduct surveys and do research and do observations before they get to the next section. So there is a lot of work involved, and there is a certain amount of commitment. And, Faris, please jump in, but sometimes people do a really good job throughout the whole 10 weeks of the program. And then there's other people that really start developing this after they've completed the 10 weeks. So it can be done both ways. It's not an issue. You don't have to really commit to everything and complete everything in that 10-week program. But what you do need to do is you do need to understand that eventually to be successful, you're going to have to, develop all areas of the actual program. You also talk about, your customers and really building in. And I don't think, for anyone that's in entrepreneurship, I don't think any of this stuff is rocket science. I mean, we're not really incorporating anything new here. We're just telling them, the people that are working through this program, that you have to do it, or you have to try to do some of this, and you've got to start thinking about it. So we go over all of these areas, and then we have experts come in when we have a need for them to discuss, like we'll bring in a lawyer, we'll bring, that talks about business formation, we'll bring in an IP attorney that talks about intellectual property, like a Stephen, and we will also bring in financial people and economic development people and state people and city people and, all the people within the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So, going through it again, we talk about competitors and, how they're set up to help you and, how you can utilize them and learn from them, how you can develop a competitive advantage, to be, making your market differentiation and how you're going to build your competitive advantage. So a lot of these things are exercises that we do, within the course. We talk about your industry and, really starting to learn about it. You'd be surprised. There's so many people that go into things and then they don't understand their industry. So we help them learn more about their industry and what they need to do to be competitive and understand that. And, all these type of things tie into what most people have seen, is successful, is developing a really strong business model canvas. So this program does utilize the business model canvas, and we talk about the business model canvas and we help them develop it. And as the program goes through and you're inputting information, it creates the business model canvas for you. And we think that it's, that's a very helpful way for entrepreneurs that have not, that are not necessarily serial entrepreneurs that have done this before. We find that it's very helpful for them to learn about the business model canvas and talk about, the 9 areas, which are value proposition, target customers, customer relationships. We develop each one of these areas, the distribution channels, the revenue streams, the key activities, the assets within the organization, the key partners, and the cost structure. So once you get through the business model canvas, you're able to, really develop something that's, we like to say sustainable, but you're really starting to think about the company, and it's going to be helpful. So I brought the one example of the business model canvas because I thought it was kind of cool, and it just so happens that it's related to a coffee shop. So for the people that are at the coffee shop, this is, what I'm sure has been, developed, and, looking at, the brand and the proprietary products and the value proposition on the coffee shop, and, decide from the distribution channels if you're going to have physical stores or if you're going to be trying to sell most of your product, in different ways, not necessarily at your physical address, but you might deliver it, to other organizations or, retail shops or online or whatever. But the coffee shop and the retail store, is the main focus of this one. And it just gives you an idea of, how you develop the real estate, how you're working for, what you're trying to do in terms of key activities and key partners, and who's what products are you letting into your coffee shop, and what customers are you looking for? Are you doing other projects? Are you kind of thinking, like it shows here, individuals with sensitive skin looking for all natural soap, shampoo, and bathing products, because this organization wanted to sell some of those products at their store as well. And just, to go through some of that. But that gives you kind of the, 10,000 foot view of the program. I hope that, I did give you a pretty good idea of what's involved in the program and what you can do to, help entrepreneurs. So this is kind of our contact information. This is the correct information if you guys, and I'll put it into the chat as well.
Hey, Joe, I'm going to hold you for 1 second here. Thank you for all of you, everything you said. That was awesome. Although I was hoping for a small break before you got to the business canvas model, because I think that's a big piece of this, especially if what you said is that you drop your information in and it automatically loads, and that'll help you.
Right.
Yeah, that's a really key component. But I didn't mention in the very beginning that we like to do a picture. So we're going to do a quick picture while we have everybody here. And then we're going to jump into some questions. And then you can drop, at any point you can drop in your information to the.
Yeah, and if we need to go back, I can just go back into different areas. So I'm gonna stop sharing right now.
Oh, okay.
And I'll put our.
You can keep sharing because we all fit in my screens. We're just going to do a real quick picture. You got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. That sounds good.
I think we're all drinking this morning. So the whole concept is it takes a million cups of coffee, right, to make this happen. Plus business help like this. So everyone give me a smile. 1, 2, 3. Done. Thank you. And then we're going to take this recording and put it on our YouTube and make this the thumbnail. So thank you guys for coming today. Are you ready to answer some questions, Joe and
Absolutely.
Faris?
Absolutely.
So since Joe, since you were kicking through that presentation, would you like Faris to hit some of these questions in the chat?
That would be nice. Otherwise, I have to get more water to start drinking, and then I have to go to the bathroom if I drink too much water. So,
a little TMI for some of the
thanks, Faris.
But Eric, we're a friendly bunch, okay? So you've had some time, I think, Faris, to see some of the questions that have popped up in the chat. So if you want to just choose one to respond to, some of them sound like kind of on the same track.
Yeah, so I the one I saw, and I'll go back and read that. Did we find any particular idea or business concepts is hard to implement within the program? So far, no. The program is not really designed for a business or type of business industry. It's really designed for a framework. And as entrepreneurs or those who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs, we're in the space where people think they know all the things that they need to know to start a business. And everybody thinks that they know better than the person next to them. And that's okay. The concept here is to say, can we support you in a way to minimize the challenges that you might face on your own launching a business and expand or maximize the probability of your business doing really well right from the start. That's really all we're trying to do. All this information is not for us to tell you what to do. It's more of like a point of reference so you can learn about it, discuss it, and then it's more of a peer-to-peer discussion, as well as, of course, the facilitator that we have invested a lot of time and money in, as well as the infrastructure that we have built with that, as Joe was mentioning. So you're going to have all that framework, all that infrastructure for you to decide what to do, but you could really run through any business idea through it. We've had people from technology space to think through this with IP. We've had others with, that wanted to open a coffee shop. Not that anything wrong with either one, or one is better than the other. They're awesome ideas, and they're both for entrepreneurs. And the program is designed to really walk you through it. As a matter of fact, that's part of the beauty. Initially, a lot of entrepreneurs think that they're so unique and so different than they are, and the person next to them. The challenges, though, to the most part, maybe 90% very similar.
Yes, I hear what you're saying with that. So this program is for, do you try to target companies that are like maybe 18 months, 2 years in idea stage, like back?
Yeah, zero. The goal is to, we have other programs that, with international management as a group, we have a whole other programs for other sectors or other ideas, but this is really focused on, I have an idea, I don't know what to do. Or I have an idea, I want to move forward with my business. That's really what it's designed for. It's not designed for, I'm already running a business, let me expand it. We have much better suited programs for that. And Kauffman supports that, because Kauffman wants people who come to this program with just an idea, because we're going to ask you a few months later, what did you do with that idea? Did you launch it? Did you not launch it? And this is what keeps us being an affiliate or not, right? So making sure that we're only accepting the people for the right reasons why they're going through it. It has to be completely idea stage.
Thank you, Faris. That was a really good explanation. I just want to mention that I just got a text that the power went off at the coffee shop. So the power went off at the coffee shop. So we lost our little group of 5 that was there with us, and they're all pros, right? So they're all trying to drop into their hotspots and get back on. That's quite funny. They're sending me messages, not in a good way. So I just want to, while you guys are on here, Dr. Kevin is one of our, Eric, for you to know this, because you're new, you were at DTech promoting your business last week. Dr. Kevin is an investor, and then Cynthia has her own business, and you're still sort of in that beginning stage of launching too, right, Cynthia? So has this been helpful? You got to take off has this been helpful?
It has been helpful. I'm ready to start production in September. So I'm a little further along. So I'm a little more interested in what other programs Kauffman has out there that might be helpful to me. So I'm past the idea stage. I've done my my trials with my product, and I'm ready to start production in September. And I kind of define myself as being in the refinement stage. So refining my website and getting ready to launch.
Yeah. So if you haven't opened the doors yet, you actually still qualify to go through it. If you have not opened the doors yet and no customers have bought from you, it's a good fit. If you have opened the door and you already have customers, Kauffman, just to give you background, Kauffman used to have 4 to 6 different programs. And back in early 2008, maybe somewhere between 2010 to 12, they let go of all of the other programs, and they decided to focus only on the idea stage. So as a foundation, they're focused on the idea stage, and that's what they offer. Now, as ISM, we do use some of their old curriculums. So they have something called Growth Venture, Tech Venture, New Venture, First Step. And we're lucky because I've been around for so long, I have all those curriculums. So we do utilize them when needed. We also have developed a few other programs. So, when you do this for 30 years, times, a few million people around the world, you kind of see what trends is happening and what entrepreneurs face or not face. And what I've learned is, so many other programs, unfortunately, are narrow based on the experience that they had with the specific sector or specific industry or specific experience of their own that they're trying to impose on you. And we actually challenge that because we have seen so many other ways to get to be an entrepreneur or start or grow a business. So we have several other programs. One of them is called Growth Wheel. We have another program called Exploring Entrepreneurship. We have another program called Resilient Entrepreneur. So we have, Joe is very, very well aware and diverse of those programs, and I'm happy to give you more information and happy to follow up with anyone that's interested in some of the other programs. The goal today was really to focus on just FastTrac and just share the connection between Kauffman Foundation of 1 Million Cup and the FastTrac. But yes, I'm lucky to be.
They can, sorry to interrupt, but they can use your contact that Joe put in the chat.
Oh yeah. Call my cell. Happy to. Yeah.
Call your cell.
So we can connect.
Is that your cell phone number in the chat?
That's the cell phone number. Yeah, I could put the office number as well.
Who's in the office anymore? Oh, I see Eric.
An extension too, but if you want to call my cell, is the best way to reach me. I'm usually respond within a call or a text within a day, email sometime within a week or a year.
That's good. So Eric actually has an amazingly refined niche that he is working on getting out there to meet manufacturers and people who need something really concise. And I'm hoping, Eric, that you're gonna potentially, do a very similar presentation that you did last week with DTech with us, like in the next couple of weeks here at 1 Million Cups, because this is kind of a special meeting where we're getting educated on some other aspects of what the Kauffman Foundation office are offered, as Faris is saying. But what did you think about this so far?
Well, I thought this was great. The Fast Track is very similar to, so I've done several programs, one through a grant that I had through the NSF called I-Core. You guys probably have heard about it. Of course.
Yeah, great program.
Gone through that, which was very similar to what you guys were talking about. Also did a few entrepreneuring classes at Michigan. Of course, get the business model canvas and all that kind of thing. And yeah, I've actually gone through those processes multiple times. You iterate through them, and it's useful every time I go through it.
So then,
why don't you take the screen right now, Eric, and show us your business model canvas? No, I'm just kidding.
no, don't do that. Joe is just.
I won't do that.
No, I will say, I'm lucky to. Go ahead, sorry, Melissa.
In notes, Faris asked Cynthia, where is she? Like, does she have any customers in the door yet? And if I recall from your presentation, you said that you have customers in the tens right now, right? So where are you in your business stage? Where would you say to Faris and Joe?
Oh, so I'd still say we're in that. So we have customers, but I'd still say we're in that refined stage, largely because we're doing this very high tech kind of stuff that we're taking technology from the University of Michigan. It was my PhD work. And so you have this technology that only a few people even get what it is that you're doing. And so the first customers that are easy for us to get are, in this tiny market. And so our beachhead is this group of mostly researchers. And so as we're trying to explore industrial markets and larger markets, the product, of course, has to evolve. And so I continue to do customer discovery. So I would say that even though we have customers, we're still in that refined stage.
So that's amazing. So that's what I was hoping you were going to say. So Joe and Faris, what I can hear, I'm an event professional, so who am I? But I can hear Eric taking a very complex and in-depth invention, discovery, and you, Eric, are able to simplify it so wonderfully for customer discovery, like you just said, on any level. Like you probably have like a fan full of directions that you could go based on who it is that you are talking to present your product. And what's a differentiator for you in particular, you and your personality, is that you are choosing not to stay the safe and easy track of just presenting this high level product to researchers and people who can actually utilize it right now. You are diving into this entrepreneurial world of, I'm going to freshly turn over the leaves and see what's happening here. So we have Steve Contos in the room there. I can see him in the green shirt. He is an IP lawyer that totally could have gone the track of the other 50,000 IP lawyers and been just, stale, stick with the program. Here's what I know. This is what I've been studying, and here's my expertise. Instead, he is in the entrepreneurial world, and he is helping at a ground level, young entrepreneurs get their IP information out there. Like that's where he finds his passion path. And you have that too, in a different way, because you have a complex topic, but you're able to simplify it, and you're able to continue to tell people like us in our audience so that we can share it with the people in our communities that will eventually become, I hope, a support to your customer discovery.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
I think you're there. I think you're getting there. So I'm really glad that you came today.
Yeah.
And I think there's a program probably, right, Faris, that you can direct him to get his next step up.
Yeah, so iCorp is a great program, and I've been fortunate to be a mentor for them, and many of our ISM's team have gone through the iCorp as a mentor. So we're the reality check for the professors and for the the PhD students that are trying to launch it, to make sure that they're being real about expectations from such business. But there are a few things, Eric, that you might benefit from, and you might already explore these, and it's actually beyond. I mean, we do, I call it market diversification, so understanding what other sectors you go through. And we could do that through the wheel that we have, which is called Growth Wheel, or through the Resilient Entrepreneur Program, but also the SBDC specifically for your type of business. I'm sure you've already talked to Dave. He basically does IP diversification, so it takes the IP and thinks what other industries or programs can benefit from it, and helps you walk through those kind of, I'm going to call it ideations of where else can you explore to make this applicable. So if you're telling me that researchers of PhD, and the university is a good place, he might also say, well, there's also these researchers groups that you should think about, or there's also this researcher groups and businesses, or he might actually take it a whole different direction and say, actually, a financial research might actually benefit from it now that you told me all these components that goes into it. And we do that, but you could get it for free with the SBDC technology team. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage you to reach out to them and see if they can help you with what they call IP diversifications or market diversification program, and that could give you some other insights. I think our program here could probably support you in a way to, we do focus a little on this, customer discovery, but we're focused for the Fast Trac specifically. We're focused really on the business planning build up. So building that business plan so you could float around for other people that either could support you or give you a roadmap for yourself or pass it on to investors or funders. Joe, you're muted.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that were in the chat. So one of the questions is, how does this program compare to Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses?
Yeah, well, I'm lucky to be also part of that as well. As you can see, there's a team here that we're fortunate to be part of a lot of these programs out there, and we try to be involved in all of them. So this is completely different. So the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business program is really looking for a business that's been around for 2 years with some revenue, usually 150,000 with 2 employees and 2 years minimum. The average, now we always have, the program itself has always taken sometimes a little bit, lower revenue, like I think as low as even 50,000. But there's some revenue there as well as at least 1 employee or 1 person beyond you, because you're going to be taken out of that work roughly 1 week, or 1 day a week for roughly 13 or 14 weeks. So if your business can't sustain itself, whether you'll be disappearing for that much time, we're not going to take you in the program, right? So that's what the Goldman Sachs program is all about, and it's all about creating a growth opportunity for the business that already exists. So if you're still dabbling and refining, it just might be a bad fit, right? Not saying that you shouldn't apply. I encourage everyone to apply. The process of applying in any of these programs really a lot of times helps you just think through the different idea that you have, and the questions that they're going to ask you helps you at least redefine some of the strategies that you might be thinking about, and encourage you to apply and see what happens. But just know that you have to be in business, generally speaking, 2 years with some revenue, somewhere between 50 to 150,000 at a minimum. I would say our average business is $1 million business, 10 years in business, and about 10 to 20 employees. That's the average, but we have all kinds of businesses all over the place. From, I think the lowest I've seen maybe 50-ish, and the highest might have been 65 million.
And when you say we, you mean ISM, right?
Well, the Goldman Sachs program. I am part of the Goldman Sachs and one of the advisors. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. So yes, I'm in the score.org. Score Southeast Michigan is one of the facilitators, and one of our facilitators for our CEO roundtables is Molly.
Who's the alum? Molly, yeah, she's alumni manager.
Yes, she's the
alumni
alumni
manager. The program herself. She's also a Fast Trac facilitator with us.
Yeah, so Molly is with us with SCORE, and she just recently put out the information about the application for Goldman Sachs, and she said currently for the next cohort it's $75,000, right, and 2 years actively in business. But it's flexible; it changes all depending on who's coming into the group and what target markets you're hitting. So, but I'm also in that CEO roundtable for SCORE. Of the group that I'm facilitating, there's 15 people in there, and of the 15, 10 are Goldman Sachs graduates, and some of them already went through that second rendition this past summer, like where you could go through the second time for like regrowth because of COVID. And it's amazing to hear the transformation and how a business owner can do so many things. They say ask a busy person to do something and they're going to get it done, right? So it's sort of like that.
Yeah, and it's a commitment. Any of these programs, they're all, and Joe hit on that really hard, which is commitment. If you're not committed for your business, don't participate in any of these programs, because they're designed to be commitment for your business. If you want to just, I call it, keep doing hustle and keep bustling and hustling, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's awesome, and you should continue to do it. But if you're really planning to say, okay, I need to take my business in a different way, I need to make it more of a business rather than me, the business, then it's a good idea to explore some of these programs. That's really what they're designed for, is to make you separate away from the business. So therefore you have a business and then you have you. And then what we've seen, to your point, Melissa, through many of these programs, once you start doing that, actually the entrepreneurs, because you have that bug in you, right? you start exploring other ideas because now you have, whoa, the business is running, I'm getting paid, which, a lot of times people work at their business and never get paid or get paid occasionally. And now they're getting paid and it's a system in place. And now they're like having the time to think about, oh, what else can I be doing with the business? What else strategies? What else can I be, what other partners can I work with? Oh, wait, but I also see this other opportunity now, completely different, but I could be an investor or, some kind of partners with them. And I have the time to do those things. So you'll be surprised of how just by understanding the concepts that you think you already know, which through the programs you realize you really don't know much about them. You just think that you know them because they're familiar words. And once you start digging deep in each one of them, specifically about your business, you start learning it, how to apply to your business, then you start unfolding the amazing things that you could do, not only with your business, but with your knowledge and your expertise and your insights that you've gained through the journey that you've taken to launch your own business.
Yeah, so one of the questions that Matt asked was, have you found any particular idea or business concept hard to implement with the program? And I guess the answer to that is no, but we certainly found particular individuals that were hard to actually, implement the program. So it depends on the individual. And, we work hard to help them down the road. So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, well, this has been really amazing. So I want to thank you guys both for coming on behalf of all of our 1 Million Cups audience today, and that this is also recorded. So, thanks for allowing us to do that and put that out in the world. On that note, this program, Fast Trac with Kauffman Foundation, it goes hand in hand with what we're doing here today at 1 Million Cups. So anyone that's, getting close to wanting to present or can present or knows somebody who needs some help and wants to tell other people about their business in a kind of a safe format where you're talking to other business owners, please apply to 1 Million Cups at Metro Detroit. We are a weekly presentation program. We go on field trips the first Wednesday of the month. That's what we're starting to implement now virtually. So we'll go visit other chapters while we're filling our own pipeline. We do a hybrid meeting at the Office Coffee Shop, our coffee sponsor, second Wednesday of the month. That's what's happening now. Sorry about the power going out for you guys, but it's, you worked it out, so it's all good. And then our third Wednesdays are open for presenters to come in and present their business. And then our last Wednesday is also the same, but we're going to start gearing that towards students. So Faris and Joe, any students, any young people that are like those, we want to tell people about our business. This is a great place to come where they're not shooting to pitch for money or investment. We're just going to help them with their presentation. Joe's going to help coach you. And we really want to hear about people's business ideas. That's why we're all here. And we are grateful that you all came today. So with that, we're just about to wrap it up. So are you guys ready to call it a morning, call it a caffeinated morning? Move on to the rest of your day? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Joe and Faris.